everyone. Today we are going to start with the chapter The Indian Partnership Act 1932. We all have already studied the partnership in our 11th and 12th standard. To call it as in a partnership firm, there must be at least two persons to carry on a business, and whatever is the profit coming out of that partnership firm is shared among all the partners either equally or as per the profit sharing ratios mentioned in the agreement. Now here we'll start with the definition of partnership, partner, firm and the firm name as per section 4. Partnership is the relation between the person who have agreed to share the profit of the business carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. What does it trying to say? It is saying that whatever is the profit coming out of the partnership firm is shared among all the partners. All partners, if suppose there are 5 partners in a partnership firm, all the 5 partners can run the day-to-day activities of the business, or if among the 5 partners, if suppose 3 partners are not able to run the business activities day to day in their day-to-day life, then the remaining 2 partners or any one of the partner can look into day-to-day activities of the business, but the profit is shared among all the partners. Persons who have entered into the partnership with one another are called individually a partner and collectively a firm, and the name under which the business is carried on is called the firm name. What does it mean? It means that if there are partners in a business, we individually will be termed as a partner, and we all together partner will collectively be called as a firm, and our business will be termed as a suppose ABC partnership firm. Now as per this definition, there are 5 elements of a partnership. These 5 elements must coexist before a partnership can come into existence. Let us see one by one what are those elements. First, partnership is an association of 2 or more persons. That means if you are running business individually, then you cannot be called as you are running a partnership firm. It is termed as a sole proprietor. To be called as in a partnership firm, there must be at least 2 persons. Okay. Then the second element is the partnership must be a result of an agreement entered into by all persons concerned. That means if you are running a partnership firm, if you want to enter into a partnership firm, you all partners must agree on a common thing. Then only this partnership firm can come into existence. Then the third element is partnership is organized to carry on some business. Why these partners come together? To carry on some business, and the business should be legal one. Then the fourth element is the agreement must be to share the profits of the business. See, if you all are partners, then you have a right to share the profit of that particular partnership firm. The business must be carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. That means if you are a partner, you have the right to look out into the day-to-day matters of the business. You can run the day-to-day activities of the business. If suppose due to some or the other reason you are not able to look out into the day-to-day activities of the business, then the remaining partner or any one of the partner among your partnership firm can look out into day-to-day matters of the business. Now let us study these elements in detail. Association of 2 or more persons. Partnership is an association of 2 or more persons. Again, only person recognized by law can enter into an agreement of partnership. Therefore, a firm, since it is not a person recognized in the eyes of law, cannot be a partner. Again, a minor cannot be a partner in a firm, but with the consent of all the partners may be admitted to the benefit of a partnership. What is it trying to say? That a minor, who is called a minor? The person who is below the age of 18 years is termed as a minor. A minor cannot enter into a partnership firm, but say suppose by the other partners, by the consent of all the partners, if he is allowed to enter into partnership firm, then only with the consent of all the partnership firm that minor can also become a partner in a partnership firm. The Partnership Act is silent about the maximum number of a partner, but Section 464 of the Companies Act 2013 has now put a limit of 50 partners in any association oblique partnership firm. That means in case of partnership business, the maximum number is limited to 50. There can be only 50 partner in a partnership firm. Now we are going to see the term agreement. It may be observed that partnership must be the result of an agreement between two or more persons. Obviously, without the agreement, the partnership firm will not come into existence only. Right? There must be an agreement entered into by all the person concerned. The element relates to the voluntary contractual nature of partnership. What do you mean by the word voluntary? Voluntary means by your own wish. No one should force you to come into business or go out of the business. Mutually, voluntarily, the partners can come into partnership firm. Thus, the nature of partnership is voluntary and contractual. Voluntary means we have studied that it must be as per your wish. No one can force you. Come and enter in our partnership firm, become the partner of our firm, or get out of our partnership firm. It is all voluntary. And once you become a partner of a partnership firm, then you come into the contract. ठीक है? An agreement from which relationship of a partnership arises may be expressed. It may be implied from the act done by partners and from a consistent course of conduct being followed, showing mutual understanding between them. It may be oral or written. See, if you want to become a partner, then you can get it in writing. And obviously the writing agreement is always benefited, because if any partner is doing fraud, or if you are not allowed to enter, is not allowed to access your right of a partner, then you can sue that partner in the court. But if the partnership agreement is not in writing, then you don't have any evidences, right? So you cannot do anything, you cannot take any legal action. For your knowledge, I'll tell you one thing, that in India, the registration, the written form of agreement is not mandatory in India, but it is only mandatory in the state of Maharashtra. And it is always suggested that if you want to enter into a partnership firm, get it registered in writing only. Business. In this context, we will consider two propositions. First, there must exist a business. If there is a business, then only a partnership firm will come into existence. For the purpose, the term business includes every trade, occupation and profession. We have studied what? There should be a business, right, to carry on a partnership firm. Now what kind of business? So your business includes trade. Trade means what? Buying and selling of goods and services. your occupation and profession. ठीक है? The existence of business is essential. You must carry a business, then only the partnership will come into existence. Secondly, the motive of business is the acquisition of gains, which leads to the formation of partnership. See, there should be profit earning. There should be what? Acquisition of gain. Acquisition means what? There should be profit in a pot. Why you run a business? To earn profit. We all do business to earn profit. So here the motive of business should also be to earn the profit. Therefore, there can be no partnership where there is no intention to carry on the business and to share the profit. If there is no intention of business or profit making, then the partnership firm will not come into existence only. Now, the next is agreement to share the profit. The sharing of profit is essential feature of partnership. There can be no partnership where only one of the partner is entitled to whole of the profits of the business. Like in case of sole proprietor, he is the only person who look out the day-to-day activities of the business. He doesn't share any profit to any person because he himself is the owner. He has to bear all the profit and losses of the business. But in case of partnership, here the profit and losses, both the things is shared among all the partners. We have already studied in starting that any partner acting for all, right? It is not necessary that all the partners should run the business into their day-to-day life. Those persons who are not looking into the day-to-day activities of the business, they are also entitled to share the profit. So the next is partner must agree to share the profit in any manner they choose. Either it can be equal profit sharing ratio or it can be as per the profit sharing ratio mentioned in the deed. If the deed is silent about the profit sharing ratio, then the profit will be shared equally among all the partners. But an agreement to share the losses is not an essential element. It is open to one or more partner to agree to share all the losses. Like profit, how we share among all the partners, likewise losses are also shared among all the partners. If suppose the loss which is to be borne by all the partners, if among 5 partners the 3 partners are not able to bear those losses, then the remaining partner have to bear it. However, in the event of losses, unless agreed otherwise, there must be borne in profit sharing ratio. How we have profit sharing ratios either equally or as per the ratios mentioned in the deed, that only ratio is considered for the sharing of losses also. Now next, business carried on by all or any one of them acting for all. The business must be carried on by all the partners or by any one or more partners acting for all. We have already studied this. This is the cardinal principle of the partnership law. In other words, there should be a binding contract of mutual agency between the partners. Thank you.